Hi, today we're going to take a look at an iOS feature called Apple Screen Time. This feature allows you to monitor and manage your device usage and allows you to set app limits and downtime. It was first released in 2018 as part of iOS 12 as a parental control. We thought, how much better could it be if we introduced this to our students so that they could become more self-aware of how they are using their technology and mindful of ways that they can change their behaviors. So we introduced this at the Solidarity Day workshops back in April. Extending this to the adult community, if you've ever wondered how often you pick up your phone in a day, this is something for you to explore. Just a little housekeeping here. You will need to update to iOS 12 to use this screen time feature. So you will do that in your settings. You will need to enable screen time on your device. The default is that it's off. You'll find that in your settings here, right there, above General. I already have it on, but you would select the bottom option here, Turn on Screen Time. You can now go about your normal activities and let the program gather some of your usage data before we start to look at configuring the settings. Once you've lived with your Apple Screen Time enabled for a while, you'll want to take a look at the reports it generates. So starting at the top, you'll see the name of your iPad or your iPhone, and if you tap the little arrow to the right, you'll see today's usages and the last 7 days if I tap on that. And the bar graphs can be, if you tap on the bar graphs, you can take a deeper dive into them. I'm going to go back to this screen. Underneath the bar graphs, you'll see downtime, which is like a little nap for your device. It mutes apps during a set time frame. Only apps you choose to allow and phone calls will be available if it's your phone. So schedule some time during the day when you don't want to use your device, for example, overnight, so you can get that good restful sleep. The default times are 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., and I have mine, as you can see, from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. App limits, daily app limits per category, and categories are social networking, productivity, creativity, as you'll see up at the top here in the bar graph. These reset at midnight. You can bypass the app timers once you've added them, so you're not locked out. And your students can do that as well. Your children can do that as well. They can ignore a daily limit for 15 minutes or the rest of the day. So it is kind of up to them, but we want them to change behavior, so this would be one we'd want them to change as well, to not bypass it unless it's absolutely necessary. For always allowed, these are apps that you want to come through during downtime. So if you hit the right arrow, you'll see messages and FaceTime are always allowed. And if you just tap the red, you can remove them. You can add other apps by tapping the green plus sign. On our phone, in Do Not Disturb, you can allow calls from down here, everyone, no one. On the phone, I also have favorites, so I have allowed calls during the downtime from my close family and friends, and also Loyola Academy, which you might want to do as well in case we get that last minute snow day. The last item in this category is content and privacy restrictions. So this would be more in terms of parental controls. If you had younger children, this is where you can block inappropriate content, so explicit, clean, and do not disturb while driving, those kinds of parental controls. Use screen time passcode. If you're using this as a parental control, you can set a separate screen time passcode that is different from the passcode you use for the lock screen, so that your children can't change your settings. Now they can ignore them, but they can't change them. If you have the same iCloud account, Apple ID across across different devices, for example, your phone and your iPad. You can share data across both devices. I have different ones for my iPad and my iPhone, so I don't have that enabled. So I'd have to do some math to add it up. All right, so let's take a deeper dive into the actual usage stats. So if I tap on my iPad name and go to today's, you can see I've spent quite a bit of time between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 p.m. Or 2 p.m. on other apps. Tap on that, and it'll show you when in the hours I've used them and for how long. I do have a limit on social networking. It's 1 hour a day, and you change that here. And it's you can do it by category, so Snapchat, Skype, Facebook, Twitter, that kind of thing, and you can edit how you're going to limit those apps. Moving on down, we'll see the most used apps by categories. Or by app actually. So I've been busy recording this video, so I have 1 hour and 1 minute, and it shows you the time of day I'm doing this with a daily average. It shows you the category, the age rating, and the developer, so you can see what your children are doing if you want to do that through this through the info part. Also spent a lot of time in settings, again, because of this little movie that I'm making. Pickups, so I've had 1 per hour. Total pickups, 6 today, and then the first app used after pickup. Normally on my phone, I must admit, it's usually messages, and I have a lot more pickups on my phone. Especially outside the workday. The next section is notifications. I've been a good girl today with my iPad making this video. And my notifications around 2 per hour, heaviest between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. The biggest app that notifies me is my calendar, followed by Twitter, as you see. When we were presenting to the students on Solidarity Day, we actually had some students who had enabled screen time before they came to the workshop, and they had some pretty good data. The biggest number on notifications we had with students was 2,400 in over 7 days. That was one boy of all the notifications he has on his iPad. And then for a girl, she had 900 notifications from Snapchat in a week. So we talked to them about notifications, and do we really needed to be alerted when one of our friends updates their stories on Instagram or Snapchat. We know they're doing it anyway, so why be distracted like that? Studies show that it takes up to 15 minutes to refocus your attention after you've been distracted by a notification. So, and this is something I notice when I'm helping students here at school, and I'm sure you do as well. So we need to, we really need to help them manage their notifications. Okay, notifications. These are the alerts that come flying across your screen. So you'll see here I have around 3 per hour, and it started at 6 a.m. except something happened here at 4 a.m. and I don't know who. 3 to 4 a.m. I got 1, but I didn't see it. So anyway, you can press on the bar graph and see the times, and you can go into the apps that you from which you're being notified. So here, if we tap on the right arrow for calendar, you can see I have notifications allowed. If I want to change how the alerts appear, I can do so by tapping lock screen, notification center, and banners. For my calendar, I do like to have it coming at me and distracting me so I know where I can be. But if it's Snapchat or Instagram or something else that the students are being distracted with, I would highly recommend that they disable it from the lock screen and disable it from banners, so if it's not the lock screen, and you won't see them come flying down. You can keep, if they want their alerts, I don't know why they would. I don't know why they'd want to be alerted every time somebody updated their story, but anyway, they can keep it in the notification center, and that is accessible always by pulling down from the top of your iPad screen in any screen. You can also set whether or not there's a tone. I do have one for calendar. And show previews, I do have that as always, but you can see here. So you'll see the little text underneath, and it'll be the preview of what the message is. This is what your screen looks like in the Do Not Disturb time. You'll see the apps are dimmed out. Okay, well, hopefully this little tutorial has been helpful to you in how to enable Apple Screen Time on your iOS device. Thanks so much for watching.